kids and this good ass acting, because they got me, man.
Basement, y'all. For some reason, that basement just felt different than any other basement I have ever seen in a movie before. I don't know what the filmmakers did, child. What's up? It's Nikki. Welcome back to my channel, King Nikki TV, where I give you commentary on popular movies and TV shows. In this video, I will be reviewing The Black Phone, about a town that is plagued with a series of child abductions. First of all, I am an Ethan Hawke stan. I have been looking forward to this movie for a while. Feels like maybe a year. Y'all, there is so much I loved about this movie. The film picks up in a town where there has been a series of child abductions. Preteen boys have gone missing, and unfortunately, the cops have no leads. None of the boys have been found. None of their bodies have been found. I will say this was a hard watch for me because I don't like seeing nothing happen to kids, child. Now, the two main characters that we follow throughout The Black Phone are brother and sister, Finney and Gwen. Y'all, these dang kids were so freaking amazing. Get these kids some mother freaking awards. Get them some work, child. I need to be seeing them all through them movies. These kids are just so freaking talented. The pacing starts off a bit too slow for me. However, it is the performances that really elevate this movie, in my opinion. It is really these two kids and Ethan Hawke as the grabber that really kept me enthralled in the story, and the alcoholic abusive dad. Great acting from him. The acting all around from the entire cast is really just top notch in this movie. We know that Finney will eventually get kidnapped, and the build up for that was a bit too slow and drawn out in certain parts, in my opinion. I mean, this was some great writing, but I don't know, the first act was a little too drawn out in certain parts for me. With lesser actors, this movie could have been mediocre, but with Ethan Hawke, mysterious, quirky, menacing performance. And you know what? I typically really do not like when actors put on like a voice for a role. I freaking hated the Christian Bale Batman voice. It was so distracting for me. But I actually really enjoyed the voice Ethan Hawke was putting on in this role. His voice, it didn't sound quite like him, right? And it sounded like spooky or scary. It sounded intimidating. I am also not much of a fan of masks. They never really scared to me. They just kind of goofy. I mean, even Scream, Halloween, those masks are just like goofy to me. But the grabber mask, I actually thought that mask was kind of creepy. Or maybe it was just not even the design of the mask. Maybe it was just Ethan Hawke acting behind the mask. Because I swear I could feel his facial expressions behind that thing. But Ethan Hawke really acting in this role. We didn't get facial expressions, you know, that we could see from him. His performance was pretty much just his eyes and body language and voice. And man, it was spot on. Just a spot on, brilliant performance. It felt like Ethan Hawke had this sort of controlled rage that felt really intense. When Ethan Hawke goes into the basement, right, and asks Finney what his name is and plays this manipulative game of, oh, I was just gonna let you go, but you lied to me. Everybody know that game. That whole, oh, I was just gonna call you. I was just gonna whatever. Everybody know that game. He leaves the basement door open, right? I knew this felt like a setup and just was done intentionally, because like I said, everybody knows that whole I was just gonna let you go game. But it is very believable that a kid would fall for that. The black phone rings and one of the dead boys warns Finney that this is a trick, that the grabber wants him to try and escape, that once he gets up those stairs, the grabber will use this for him to be a naughty boy and beat him. Y'all, when the camera pans upstairs and shows Ethan Hawke sitting in that goddamn chair, waiting for Finney to come upstairs, we never actually see him beat Finney or the other boys, but it just sent chills up my spine. I mean, just the performance was so good that just the way he was sitting in that chair, I could just imagine the brutality and rage he would have inflicted on Finney had he gone up those stairs. And I was actually kind of like holding my breath for a second because Finney is a kid. He's scared. I wasn't sure if he would actually heed the dead kid's warning or take, just his chances and go upstairs. I thought the unlocked door for him would be too much to resist. I mean, I figured you're a kid. You feel like this is your opportunity to finally get out. But he heeded the warning. And y'all, that basement. This is pretty much kind of a one-setting scenario in how we are following Finney once he gets kidnapped. That basement, the tension in that basement was so intense to me. It was like I felt like I could feel Finney's desperation and hopelessness and claustrophobicness down there in his attempts to escape that basement. It's just like I could feel the desperation, man. And every time the kid was on that dang phone with his back to the door. I just kept wanting him to be facing the door on the phone. I was just anticipating the grabber being there. I literally held my breath every time the camera would pan the dang basement, y'all. For some reason, that basement just felt different than any other basement I have ever seen in a movie before. I don't know what the filmmakers did, child. Y'all, am I tripping? That was like, I don't know. I swear that basement just made my skin crawl. Like, it made my skin itch. Y'all, the kid who played Finney, baby, he needed an award. He needed an award for this performance. It was so good. It was heartbreaking. I just really felt his performance during the moments of the movie that I felt were slow and dragging. I still enjoyed Finney and Gwen and even their abusive dad because the acting was just so good. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I have a long history as a horror fan, right? So jump scares are typically not really effective for me. Like, I enjoy them. It's like, oh, that was fun. But like, I never physically jump. Child, look. There was a jump scare in this movie. Y'all, they got me. Child, I physically jumped. And it was actually funny because my mom was at the theater with me and she jumped too. And she gonna tell me, oh, you made me jump. Y'all, no, she made me jump. I'm telling you, if she hadn't jumped, I wouldn't have jumped, okay? But, yo, it was good. It was a fun moment. Like, this movie, it was a great atmosphere that the movie created. And I feel like it wasn't even just like the jump scare they used. It was just the moment. I was so into like being in that basement with Finney. Another standout performance that I want to talk about, the sister, Gwen. Y'all, when those cops came to her school to question her about her comment on the black balloons, which was a detail that had not been released, I literally turned to my mom and was like, when she cursed the cops out, I said, I need my child to be like that. I love this little girl, y'all. Lord, the strength these characters had, the tenacity, just as kids. Gwen's character made me laugh, made my heart hurt, made me root for her, just made me feel all the feels. Their dad's portrayal as well was really amazing. I liked how his character was presented to us. He is an abuser, he is an alcoholic, but he is broken. However, there is never a moment where I felt like they were trying to make us feel empathetic for the dad in any way, which I would not have appreciated. I want to say all, but I'll just say most abusers are broken in some way. Most abusers were abused themselves, have something traumatic, and we got that in the dad's performance, that he's broken. You know what I mean? There is always some type of trauma you can find in the history of an abuser. One scene that stands out for me, y'all, it was so hard for me to stomach this scene. Gwen has these dreams, right, that always turn out to be true. It's like kind of psychic visions. And apparently her mother had this same gift, which led to her taking her own life. The dad gets so irate about Gwen and her dreams that he beats the girl the hell down in the kitchen. Y'all, The acting from both of them, the girl repeating, "My dreams are just dreams," her facial expression, the way she said the line. Oh, and when she picks up his liquor bottle and threatens to drop it and break it if he hits her again, y'all, oh my God. That scene, this was truly an amazing scene. As hard as it was for me to stomach, the acting was just so freaking good, y'all. An honorable mention performance, guys, was the kid who played Robin. I mother freaking love this kid. Get this kid some work, y'all. Y'all, he touched my heart. This was another kid who I turned to my mom and I was like, I need my kid to be like that. When he beat them bullies down, it really pisses me off in movies. Like, they always gotta add bullies with kids and teens, and it really annoys me. It seems like we have to constantly get bullies in stories with kids, but whatever. I guess, it's part of life, so they put it in the movie, but it annoys me. I'm sick of seeing bullies. Like, I hate seeing that ish. It was pretty much like, okay, so Finney's dad is abusive. He gets bullied and beat up by, at school. His life freaking sucked. And then the cherry on top is, he gets kidnapped by a sicko. Great. This movie was depressive. Robin was Finney's friend, and he took up for him against the bullies. But, of course, Robin gets taken by the grabber and killed. Y'all! This is pissed me off so freaking bad. Why does evil seem to only happen to good folk? Why does evil never happen to evil folk? I mean, of course the grabber don't snatch up the dang evil bullies who even beat down Gwen, a freaking little girl, when she was trying to defend her brother. Of course the grabber don't get those kids. Of course he gets the nice Asian kid who was playing baseball. Of course he kills Robin. Like, that is pissed me off so bad. I was trying to prepare myself as I was watching, right? Because I just knew that eventually Finney's friend would be on the other end of the goddamn black phone. But child, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. Once Robin finally called and he was like, Lord... I feel like I'm finna cry now. Y'all not finna have me crying on Beyonce's internet. Oh my God, it was such a good scene. Robin was like, you never leave a man behind. That's why my dad didn't come home from Vietnam. Damn these kids and this good ass acting, because they got me, man. I can't remember everything he said verbatim, but basically telling Finney, he was going to live for him. Oh my God, y'all. I'm so mad. Yo, I don't like seeing ish happen to kids. I will say I did enjoy not having to actually see any violence done to the murdered boys. We did see the boys in their murdered state, the aftermath of the violence the grabber did to them. Y'all, seeing just that was traumatic enough for me. Seeing Gwen get beat down by her dad was traumatic enough for me. What we did get was brutal enough. I am so happy that we did not have to get no explicit scenes of the grabber murdering these goddamn innocent boys. Like, oh my God. The black phone might arguably have one of the best climactic sequences I have seen in a movie in a while. The last 15-20 minutes was so freaking amazing. It felt frantic, hopeless, suspenseful, hopeful, then back to hopeless. Finney prepares for his final showdown with the grabber as Gwen has a vision of the house that Finney is being held in, the address of the house. I mean, I didn't think that this would be a bad guy wins type of movie in the end, right? But once the grabber's brother finally went down to the basement, y'all, which that felt off to me. For him to just suddenly, all of a sudden, get this idea to go down to the basement and check, and this thought that maybe his brother was the grabber. I don't know why he just suddenly had it at that moment, whatever. But he unexpectedly goes into the basement, and I knew something was finna happen because I was like, why he don't have the door all the way open? Of course, the grabber comes up behind him and kills his own brother, which he was supposed to be at work. Why was he home at that moment? Whatever. But I was like, oh, y'all. Well, for one, I thought the kid was going to accidentally kill the brother and end up still just dying. But I was like, no, their hair is completely different. But, y'all, this was really when I was just feeling like, okay, yeah, this not going to be a happy ending. The grabber had a dang axe and a huge-ass monster dog. And all Finney had was a phone that he packed with dirt. At this time, Gwen has gone to the two detectives on the case, right? The cops get to the address from her dream and the house is empty. And I was like, yeah, God damn it, let me prepare myself. This not going to be a happy ending. Finney finna die. The sequence we are seeing in the basement with Finney is not currently happening presently. I was like, Gwen is not going to lead them to her brother and rescue him. This is all like playing out for us, but this is past. I thought she was only going to lead them to her brother's body and, you know, the bodies of the other boys. Y'all, I cannot express how mother-freaking good this sequence was. I literally was like, here it is. This is the climax of the story. Here it is. Here it is. And y'all, it was so phenomenal. So we're in the basement, and I have officially lost hope at this point. But y'all, my boy Finney had that hole in the floor set up with the carpet over it. He gets the grabber to go after him. And y'all, when the grabber fell in that hole and broke his dang ankle, got his comeuppance with that, Finney was smacking fire out of him, okay, with that dang phone. But I still kind of have hope because I was like, dang, how many times you gotta hit the boy for him to get knocked out? Like, if I'm fighting for my life, man, how many hits do I gotta try and get before the person is knocked out? Everything came together, and I loved how everything came together. Finney's different attempts that seemingly failed came together and saved him. When Finney tried to go through the wall and get out through that freezer, but could not get the freezer door open, baby, he had them stakes, and that is what he tossed to get the dog away from the door and escape. The dog was chained up by the door. I actually love this because you can't wait to be rescued. You have to save yourself. And that was foreshadowed earlier in the movie when Robin, oh, pour one out for the homie Robin. I really love that kid. When Robin stood up for Finney and said, one of these days, you're going to have to stand up for yourself. Gwen led them to the bodies of all the missing boys. Turns out, Finney was across the street from where the boys were buried. Y'all, let me tell you how the cops do. These fools gonna get on the news and say the men who broke the case. I'm like, no fool, a little girl broke the case, and Finney saved himself and took down the bad guy. For me, this movie was not horror, even though it's listed as horror thriller. I would argue there were really no horror elements. I would definitely say this is like thriller suspense. I do like the mystery around the grabber. I do. But I would have liked more information on his character. Like, can we just get a little more? He was not like a child sexual predator. That was not his motivation. He had this complex about I feel like I said that weird. Naughty boys. Where did that come from? What was his motivation? He only wanted to hold the boys and punish them for being naughty. What did he tell his brother to keep him out the basement? I really want to hear that one. The brother and neighbors didn't find it odd that Ethan Hawke's character owned a house right across the street from his own that he just kept vacant. Like, I don't understand. Like, when you think that was a little off, baby, why you got a little, like a lock on your front door? I don't understand. This was definitely well worth the watch, guys. I give The Black Phone a 6 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.